Mr. Vance O's, author of From Cocaine to Cop. How you doing, Mr. Vance?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm so glad to be here.
Oh man, it's a pleasure, man. It's always a pleasure being around you, you know, and finally get to, you know, interview you, talk to you, get some little history on you, and you know, just to see what you're doing in the future.
Sure.
So, you know, as we go, I'm gonna go through my little notes and everything. Everybody, y'all bear with me. You know, I'm ecstatic right now. I got my brother right here. Yeah, my brother.
Sir. Yes, sir. No doubt about
my brother, you know. So, we're gonna jump right into it, man. We're gonna keep it raw and uncut. You know, authentic, 100, and we're gonna give the people what they want. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna give them what they looking for to put the story with the face, the name with the face. Some people may already have seen you before, you know, on social media and things of that nature, going viral and things of that nature. But we here now, we're going to hear from the horse's mouth. All right, so Mr. Bishop Randy Vance O's, right? Vance Randy O's, all right. Share a little bit, share a little bit of your journey with us.
Starting where?
From starting to, man, maybe age 12.
Age 12.
Yeah.
Age 12, I was literally living in Fort Washington.
Okay.
Age 12, I guess that was in the 7th grade.
Okay.
I attended a junior high school called Eugene Burroughs.
Okay.
Junior high school. Actually, my parents and I, we had moved from Suitland to Fort Washington. And then, to be candid with you, I started smoking weed at 12 years old.
Okay, and that's why
that's absolutely amazing and ironic how you would ask how the journey started, because in the 7th grade at 12 years old, I was smoking marijuana regularly, every day. I was literally addicted at 12. Wow. And back then, a lot of my family was smoking weed, so it was kind of socially acceptable. In our community, everybody smoked weed. They had the weed in the shoebox, and they would put the little top of the shoebox and let the seeds fall down. And so that moment, as I reflect now, is where my emotions started being unstable. Because I medicated every emotion I had by smoking weed at the age of 12.
Wow.
But then I loved dressing back then. I was wearing suits in junior high school. Always tried to get the best looking girl. Right? And I still was skating at 12 years old. But not as much, because I played basketball in junior high school. That's at 12. And then, of course, I moved on to the 8th grade. And back then, in PG County, the sports moved to, is it called an intramural?
I'm not sure.
Okay, they didn't have the regulation sports anymore in junior high school. Everything had to be within. And so that 8th grade, we played ball, smoked weed, and then in the 9th grade, it was crazy. My father, we moved to North Carolina. He owned a funeral home. And so we had to sell the house in Fort Washington, buy a house in North Carolina to run the funeral home. Make long short, was nobody dying down North Carolina. So we had to sell the funeral home and come back. And then I moved back to Suitland, Maryland, in the same house in the 10th grade, and I went to high school there. The weed continued, drugs continued, the ball continued, everything continued. It just magnified because I was a little older.
Okay, all right. So, what were some challenges early on, other than, well, I'm not gonna say other than smoking weed? What became some of your challenges in life?
Yeah, one of my biggest challenges, I believe, started before 12. And it was I believe not for abandonment, but the competition with my other siblings, my cousins. I felt as a kid that I was overlooked because I was a little wild. I ran around a lot, and I had a couple cousins that I thought my aunts and uncles and the rest of the people favored more than me. And I never expressed that as a kid, but at the age of 8 and 9, I didn't know how to handle those type of emotions and feelings that somebody else in my family I love felt like they were more important than me, or I was overlooked. So what I had to do, I had to always work harder in everything I did to get attention from people that I thought I loved. And it was me. It wasn't. Now I don't know. I can't say how they felt, but I felt that as a young man that I felt overlooked by my family, and they always would put my cousin ahead of me. I would always be second fiddle to him.
Okay.
Right. So I would try to do more. I would stay on the basketball court longer. I would play the instrument longer. I would stay on the skate floor longer, so I can get the attention that I thought I deserved.
Right.
And at a young age, I didn't know how to handle those feelings. I didn't know how to handle those emotions. I thought I was overlooked and I wasn't good enough. And so I compensated.
Wow. Okay. So.
And then I smoked weed to cover up those feelings. So emotionally, I stopped growing at the age of 12, emotionally. So when I finally stopped smoking weed or drugs per se at 29, I was a 29-year-old man with 12-year-old emotions. Because I never dealt with emotions. I medicated everything I felt. Whether it was snowing, I got high, good day to get high. Whether I was happy, good day to get high. Whether I was sad, good day to get high. Right, so every emotion I medicated. I never handled those emotions without the use of a mind-altering drugs. And so when I finally got clean, my emotions was all over the place. I didn't know how to handle them. And so, because I never handled emotions without getting high.
So, stepping back just a little bit, mom and dad was in the house with you. Okay, so moms are normally nurturing. And did you ever look to your mom for nurturing?
Oh, absolutely. Without probably my mom, I probably would have been totally wrecked, because my mother was the nurturing, loving, caring, the extras. My dad was militant. My dad's dad died when he was 3. And it was just he and his mom, and they moved from North Carolina, so they didn't have nothing. Right. So my dad and mom, they saved everything. My dad and his mother, they saved everything. So my father was very strict. He was very militant. He was very direct. He was mean. My father's voice rang like a bell in the house. We were scared of my dad. So my father would never buy us anything extra. As long as we had food on the table, clothes on our back, and a roof over our head, my father made sure we had everything we needed. But all the extras, my mother would go down 7 and 10, buy the hot stuff and buy the clothes. My dad wasn't. I can't remember, bless his heart, he's dead and gone. I can't remember my dad ever going to the cleaners. I can't remember him. One day I was driving him, and I had on a tie, and he asked me, he said, "Son, how much is that tie?" I said, "I only paid 70. He said, "Those type of ties choke my neck."
$70 tie.
Yeah. So he was tough. If I fell down, he'd be like, "Wipe your eyes, get up, da 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 da." But mom had a way of holding your face and nurturing you and loving you. That's the loving side that I have. And but I appreciate the balance of them both. And now I can understand the discipline that my dad was trying to imprint in my life that I need even right now to do the things that I'm doing.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I was going to say. I said nurturing and then a stern backbone from a man often leads to balance.
Absolutely.
So I was just curious on, I know you said you went through thinking you were less than, you know what I'm saying, through your cousins, but, you grew up and you still was dealing with that, that 29-year-old body.
That's right.
That's right. So I know you spoke on fashion, I know you spoke on instruments.
Right.
So when did you find yourself being a musical genius?
Well, to be quite honest, my older cousin played with the Barcades, Isaac Hayes and the Barcades.
Oh wow!
Right,
That's major.
Yeah. And he was a kind of a major star. My mother's sister's son. He played with the Barcades, so I idolized him. He's 10 years old. He's living now. His name is Vernon Birch. Okay. He's 10 years older than me. So when he was in the Barcades at 16, he was 16 years old playing the guitar. Remember the song John Shaft?
Yeah.
He was playing that lead part on that.
Wow.
And so I was 6 years old, so we looked up to him. Now remind you, the young man, my cousin Leroy, he's dead, he got killed. We were the same age. My other mother's sister's son, we were born the same year. Okay. So he and I, we come from the sandbox. But he always got more attention than me because he was a couple months older than me. Okay. Right? Okay. He and I was always waiting on Vernon to come get us as kids. So we just had a little group before I started playing instruments, trying to get together, waiting for Vernon to come back and get his family to take him back on the road. Right? So we would have little groups, we would play instruments, waiting for Vernon. Vernon never comes back. Wow. So I'm in high school now. I'm always a drummer, playing drums at 9 years old. Then I started playing keyboards, waiting for Vernon to come back to pick us up, to be his band, to go on the road, to be a star. He never did. So eventually I get a music scholarship from Suitland High School to go to Howard University. Amazing. And this is where this is where the whole story really takes a whole turn in my life, because I'm 17 years old. I have a full tuition scholarship to Howard University, music scholarship, and I was on a drum line and I had to play in the marching band. Right. I gave up basketball because they didn't give me a scholarship, so I couldn't try for basketball because trials for basketball was during the football season and I had to be on the field. Can I
get you to hold your thought 1 second right here? Because I'm going to plug this book.
Okay.
And I want everyone to know that the story that you're hearing right now is actually in this book.
It is.
This is a good read, you know, and I want you guys to know From Cocaine to Collar is where it's at. He's giving you a real good glimpse of what's in this book. And I think he's only telling me this, or telling us this, because he just being who he is.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying?
That's
Pastor
right.
Vance, Randy O's, and Cocaine to Collar. This is what he's talking about, folks. Yeah. And if you ain't got this book yet, you're missing out. You know what I'm saying? But good thing you here, you watching right now.
Yeah.
He's giving you a good scenario of some things that's in this book. But go ahead.
But pardon me to be all over the place. There's just so much I'm trying to compartmentalize.
You flowing and I love it.
Okay.
You flowing and I love it. Trust me.
Yes.
I just wanted you to know that I know some of the stuff you're talking about.
Yeah, in the book.
It's right here.
It's in the book.
Yeah.
Everything I'm talking about is in the book. And it's sequenced so you can understand it better. So if I'm kind of all over the place, just pardon me. And then when I still talk about it, emotions creep up.
Yeah, it resonates.
Because I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to overcome that and be able to share that and let people know that whatever they're trapped in or whatever they're dealing with, they can recover from it too. Yeah. And so I'm in college, and my cousin Leroy, now he's playing, my cousin Leroy, that's the same age, he plays bass, and I'm playing keyboards now, and I'm playing percussion up Howard, and we still wait for Vernon to come. Now we 17, we grown, we little kids. Vernon's 27. Okay. He didn't left the Barcades, got his own group, and had his first album with Stevie Wonder. So Vernon literally comes back to DC with nothing but his clothes on his back because he's a steep heroin addict.
And we talking 80s?
Yeah, mid 80s because I graduated from high school 83. We talking 85. Okay. And when it was crazy in DC, right? It was really crazy in DC, and I'm uptown. I'm in the middle of everything. I wasn't getting high on cocaine yet. I was selling cocaine. I'm missing a lot of stuff, but Vernon finally comes back with nothing because he's a heroin addict. Okay. And so now we doing good. Me and my cousin Leroy, we 17, 18. We in college. We playing music. Da 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 da. He's 27, but now we have to nurse him off of heroin. Then we get a group. Okay. Okay. We finally get a group, and so Vernon said, let's take these 2 songs out to Stevie Wonder. Okay. And so, because he has a relationship with Stevie, we fly out to L.A. Stevie hears the music, right? He likes the music. We were trying to get him to be our executive producer, me, my cousin, that's dead now, and Vernon to be, right. So he's like, cool, I'll do that, but it's going to be less expensive for you to go back home and use the studio because I would have to put you up in a hotel. So we come back home. So we working on the rest of the album in Silver Spring. So I go and record all my stuff, and I go back out Because now I'm getting high.
Okay.
I skipped a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I done skipped all the drugs and selling drugs. I'm on it.
We'll get, you on it, but we'll get back to that.
Right. I'm on it.
But at this point, you on it.
Yeah,
Okay.
at this point, now I'm getting high. I'm out in California smoking coke.
Okay.
Waiting for Stevie to meet with us. So I come back. While they in the studio, I'm in Hilltop Gardens over there in District Heights selling drugs. I get locked up.
Okay.
So when they lock me up, I goes into treatment. They say, boy, get yourself together. When you come out, everything gonna be cool. Just get yourself clean. We're gonna take care of all the business. 3 months in the program, Leroy gets killed.
Wow.
They run in the house, and now he getting money. He was getting money. I was getting high, but Leroy was getting money. He was giving me coke. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so the dream to me
is crushed.
Crushed.
Yeah,
the family dream all these years, we finally there, he gets killed. Now, I stay in Baltimore. I get clean, stay in Baltimore. Vernon, right?
Yeah.
He goes back out and get high again. He gets caught with coke on the train and have to do a 20-year federal prison time. He did 18 years.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I stay in Baltimore and I stayed clean for 4 years and got high again. Then moved back here, got locked up. I ain't gonna tell you the rest, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
And here I am today.
Now, you got clean at some point.
Yeah.
1 time or 2 times.
Yeah. Back and forth.
Right. So do you know what may have triggered you into going back into getting high?
I know what triggered me, exactly. My behavior, my attitude.
Okay.
I was still tricking. I was still going on the corner.
Okay.
If I can get candid with y'all, y'all know I'm gonna keep it
We
real.
keep it 100.
I was still going on the corner, getting oral sex from women while I was clean. So I wasn't working on recovery. I was just abstinent. I kept the same behavior.
Okay.
And that behavior led me one night, the woman I picked up off the block, Pennsylvania Avenue, right in Baltimore.
Okay. You know about
right in Baltimore. I picked him up, picked the trick up, and now I'm 4 years clean. Because after Leroy died, I said, man, I ain't getting back in this game. I ain't going back. I'm going to stay in Baltimore. I had my child, da-da-da-da-da.
Okay.
I'm not going back. So I stay in Baltimore. And I was clean, but I was still exemplifying the same behavior. I was in relapse because my behavior and attitude had changed.
Okay.
I'm still, and got a girl at home, but still going to the corner and getting oral sex. I'm trying to keep it as clean as I can because I know we're on TV, right?
Right.
But and so eventually that girl that night, she was bojangling. She wasn't doing a good job. So she had spent the money. I was going to tell her stop giving my money back because I knew you was playing with me. She spent the money. She already spent it on the crack.
Okay.
I took the crack from the girl and didn't tell my partner in the car I had it. And it burnt my pocket up that whole night. The next morning, I went and got me a can.
Yeah.
I was still smoking cigarettes. I got some ashes and I hit that crack. And then it was off to the races.
Off to the races. I was about to say
that was done.
Say that.
And so eventually I lost everything in about a month in Baltimore, my townhouse. My daughter's mother took my daughter, rolled out. I came back to DC, moved with my mom. And I, just doing my thing.
Right.
Until I got locked up in 1993 around Homer Avenue. I sold the undercover.
Wow.
And then now it's been 28 years. I'm 55. I've been clean for 28 years.
Yeah,
that's a short story.
Yeah, that's congratulations on being clean.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. So, getting into, you mentioned about skating. You were skating at, go back a little bit, at the age of 12 or
age of 10 of Forestville.
Forestville skating.
Right.
Okay.
Actually, it was 9. That was the elementary days. 8, 9, and no, what is it? Yeah, 8, 9, and no. 9, 10, and 11 is 4th, 5th, and 6th grade.
Right.
So yeah, 9 years old, living in Suitland, off of Gaylord Drive, and go to the matinee sessions. Okay. Back then in Rolling Skulls, I was young, man. I was 9 years old, so I would go up there, and that's where it all started. That's where all the style started. Looking at them guys of Forestville, and so I mimicked that. And once I learned skating, it was just in and out of my life the whole time. I was skating when I was high and all kinds of stuff, just in and out of the skating ring. But thank God for the skating culture and the community of the skating ring, because it cultivated camaraderie. Once I finally landed where God intended for me to land, then all of it made sense and purpose of everything that I went through to get me where I am.
Right, that's strong. So, question for you: who introduced you into skating?
Well, it was a guy named Jimmy. I think it was Jimmy. He stayed on our street. He was with the Rolling Skulls. He played rototons for Hot Cold Sweat.
Okay.
And he was a little older than we were, but he skated. And and it was good, clean fun. It was the only thing in our neighborhood outside of riding bikes and skateboards and playing football in the middle of the street. So skating was a luxury to go to Forestville back then that day.
Okay, so when you say you landed back into the skate community after the journey of life, your ups and downs, your habits, your addictions and things of that nature, do you recall when you started coming back skating and landed to the community?
I did. When I got clean the second time, I got locked up in '93 around Homer Avenue. Okay. And I received my call to preach 10 years later. I think I was in my 30s or something like that. And or late, it had to be in my 30s, early 30s. And so I went to seminary school to become a preacher. And during that time, I went through a tough relationship. And so I went back to the rink on gospel night. Okay. Just for some good, clean fun. Relationship broke my heart. I wanted to get out. Right. I was a preacher I was doing the right thing. I was preaching, whatever. I wasn't pastoring yet. And so I needed some good, clean fun. Right. So I pulled out my skates and went on gospel night. Make long short, it didn't challenge me. Okay. And the crowd wasn't there. And so I skated a little bit. It was a couple of people that could skate. It was on Fridays of Crystals. And I think it was the 10 to 2 session, the gospel skate. Okay. But to make long short, it was kind of boring.
Was it the music that was boring?
Yeah, it wasn't really the music. Okay. Because it was boring because there was nobody there. There wasn't no skaters there. There was no child. It's like playing ping pong with somebody you can beat. Okay. Right? And so was nobody in there that could really challenge my skill set, because it's not really the music for me. Long as it's the tempo, I like the crowd. I get the energy from the crowd and the skaters that can skate. Right. So eventually, I started going Thursday night. Okay. Right? Started going Thursday night, and saw a couple of people that I used to skate with, like Keith Love, bam, bam, bam. Then I ran into you.